Welcome back to We the People University. My name is Abaya Israel, former police officer, former sheriff deputy.
Open up! Police!
Today we're taking a look at the Decherd, Tennessee Police Department. A lot of you guys may be familiar with this next clip.
The sheriff's office says that off-duty officer Matthew Ward drew his department-issued handgun on Ilya Kovalchuk.
Get on the ground! Police!
He just approached me and just held the gun in my face on me to get on the ground and yelling at me just to get on the ground and that he's a cop, that he's on duty 24/7.
You're not on duty. Doesn't matter. I am on duty 24/7.
The clip you just witnessed was former officer Matthew Ward of the Decherd Police Department, who held an innocent civilian at gunpoint while screaming at him to get on the ground. Ward apparently became enraged during a road rage incident on I-24 in Rutherford County. Even though he was far from his jurisdiction, he still held the citizen at gunpoint, screaming at the citizen to get on the ground. But that's not the main point of this video. The main point of this video is Chief Ross Peterson, who knew of Matthew Ward's past history but chose to ignore it and hire him as a police officer anyway. But when questioned, the chief lied and said he had no knowledge of Ward's past history. Let's take a look at this video. Put in the comment section your thoughts.
You told us last week there was not a form filled out, notarized. You told us that on camera, sir.
News Channel 5 did the legwork looking into the past of a Decherd police officer now charged with aggravated assault for holding a driver at gunpoint while off duty and out of his jurisdiction. While News Channel 5 asked for the officer's training history, the Decherd police chief admitted his department did not.
And now tonight, following a series of reports from News Channel 5's Jason Lamb, Decherd city officials tell us their police chief is stepping down. They say Police Chief Ross Peterson turned in his resignation letter today.
News Channel 5's Jason Lamb has followed this case from the very beginning.
Tell him to get on the ground. He's not doing anything. We need the police.
Ma'am, hold on because you're within the city limits, okay?
Not on duty. Doesn't matter. I am on duty 24/7.
This cop's saying he's on duty 24/7.
It's been more than a month since the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office says this road rage incident started on I-24 involving former Decherd police officer Matthew Ward, who was off duty and 50 miles from his jurisdiction. Ward now faces an aggravated assault charge and was allowed to resign from the police department. And tonight, Decherd City Attorney Jerry Hood says Decherd Police Chief Ross Peterson will be resigning following a series of reports from News Channel 5 looking into how Ward was hired. We dug into Ward's work history at his previous job as an officer in training at the Fort Walton Beach Police Department in Florida. Through our public records request, we found that his trainers raised red flags, including several low scores in categories like knowledge of criminal procedure and decision-making. But those are records Police Chief Ross Peterson admitted his department never asked for because he said Ward hadn't filled out a liability release, allowing the department to ask detailed questions into his background. But according to police documents one of Decherd's own police sergeants gave us, it appears Ward actually did sign a form that would have allowed that investigation.
But I'm still here to talk to you.
It's something we brought up to the chief yesterday during a wide-ranging 90-minute press conference. You told us last week there was not a form filled out, notarized.
I did not.
You told us that on camera, sir.
It is not, there was no form filled out where we got it notarized, where we can ask questions, anything different than did you work here and would you rehire that person? And since he's not actually got an extensive work history in law enforcement, we didn't do that. That's my answer.
Sir.
Did you hear her say that they don't go to me?
He does
They do not.
You said we didn't have a form that was filled out.
I really didn't think we did.
Before yesterday's press conference, we tried contacting Peterson several times for his side of the story, but he hadn't commented on any of the records we dug up until yesterday.
I've talked to you and and you've reached out on my personal cell phone that you got from these people, and I want to answer her question.
I got your cell phone, sir, when you called me.
Oh, my bad.
City officials say Peterson delivered his resignation letter today, though it's unclear when that resignation will become effective or who the next Decherd police chief will be. Jason Lamb, News Channel 5.
We want to let you know that we have tried several times to contact former officer Matthew Ward for any comment that he or his attorney would like to make. We have still not heard back from them.
So here's the biggest problem with the situation. The chief stated that Ward did not fill out a liability form. So therefore, they had no knowledge of his past history. Well, that was the initial lie that he told. But here's the problem with that lie. I'm a former officer, and I know for a fact, if you do not fill out the liability forms or give them permission to look into your background, they will not hire you. So they chose to overlook his background, his history. They chose to overlook all the warnings that were given by his past trainers that this guy is a ticking time bomb. So the big problem here is this. If an officer harms a citizen or violates a citizen's right at one department, get fired or resigns or even charged, they just simply go to another department. How do we stop that? What do we do? Should we remain quiet? No, we have to have a voice and speak up about these things. If an officer is forced to resign or if he quits one department, he should no longer be able to go to another department. So as we see, the chief knew exactly what he was doing. He brought in a rogue officer, and thank God this rogue officer didn't hurt or even kill this citizen. We the people, we have to speak up. We have to have a voice. Make sure you know your rights. With that being said, We the People University signing off.